Hey folks, welcome to our very first episode of the Dungeon Debates. I'm Mark Streed, and my most excellent co-host is...
Kjack, who just took a swallow right when you were introducing him.
I probably did that on purpose, actually. I just think. So this is going to be a fun little D&D show, and maybe even just some gaming thrown in there as well. But we're going to debate some stuff. We're going to have some different segments. And we're not sure on the frequency yet, but keep an eye on social media and you'll find out more about the show and when and where you can see it. So I'm Mark Streed and I work for the Dice Tower, board gaming straight up, some RPG in there as well. But you can see all my stuff over on the Dice Tower on YouTube.
And my name's Kjack. You can hear my voice in your head and probably at some point on a commercial or in a video game, as well as you can catch me on YouTube on the Dungeon Run, which is a live streaming show that we do on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock. We're on a bit of a hiatus right now, but I actually have some good news for you, Mark.
Tell us.
So this is the official update on the Dungeon Run. So we just had a very good meeting with Caffeine, and now it's just a matter of us getting the paperwork filled out, signed, and officially authorized or whatever. I'm not the legal guy. Morgan can handle that stuff for us. But yeah, as soon as that's all signed and agreed on, then we can launch. So we are super excited, very pumped. Yes. And all things Dungeon Run will be back at that point.
That's fantastic. And in the meantime, you guys are doing some fun little tidbits of content as well.
Yeah.
As not only this show, but you're getting together on at least maybe not every Wednesday, but most Wednesdays, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so we've been doing fun stuff like we did an episode of Fiasco, which I would love to do again.
So good.
It took place, in LA in the 1930s. That's up on YouTube. That was on HelloGoodberry, which is Jessica Lynn Parsons' Twitch channel. And then just the other night, Ron and Morgan and Katie and Jess did a hangout on Ron's station, the Real Rogden, or Ron Ogden. I don't know what it's called.
We'll put it below.
Yeah, we'll put links. But yeah, so we're keeping busy. You can also hear Jeff's lovely voice on all of his podcasts, Jeff Kanata. And follow us on our socials. We still have access to all of the Dungeon Run socials as well. And more importantly, join the Dungeon Run Discord for all of our updates. And we will definitely put a link to that down below.
100%. So that's definitely a huge community there too. And so many great folks, just huge fans of the show. Fantastic.
Yeah, very positive place with lots of lovely people that will definitely be welcoming, and that's one of the things that we're shooting for with the Dungeon Run 2.0 is growing that community.
Yep, that's fantastic. Well, now to this show, the Dungeon Debates. Tell us a little bit about this show. What are we going to be doing, Jared?
So one of my ideas that I don't think is done enough with Dungeons and Dragons or with just role-playing games in general is most of the time people will talk and present a specific subject, and they'll be very amiable, very, like, hey, this is how I feel, and then you agree, and then you say something, and then I agree. I think it would be fun if that is not always the case. So for our first segment, the Dungeon Debates, we're going to be doing a debate between Mark and I where we discuss several different topics. And the first topic, today's topic, is going to be what is the most underrated, underused monster in the Monster Manual. Now, this could be a Monster Manual from an older edition or a newer edition. We opened it up to pretty much any monster anywhere in Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm very interested to see what Mark has picked, because I have a doozy. I have a real doozy.
I'm not sure mine is a doozy, but I loved this monster reading about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never had this in any campaign I've ever played. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
And our other segment,
we're going to offer up to you, the viewers, a chance to engage with an NPC that we have hired or we've sprung from jail. Anyway, they're down on their luck. And it's up to you to use them in your campaigns and then tell us all about it.
So we'll create an NPC from scratch and come up with a name and a backstory. And then we would love anyone that's watching this to introduce this NPC into your game and then report back to us and tell us what happens. Does this NPC help out the player characters? Does he or she hurt the player characters? Is this the shady dude in the alleyway that sells them something that they really need, but for a cost? Yeah, so we're going to create that NPC from scratch, send it out to you into the ether, and then you can report back to us in the comments and let us know what happened.
Tell us about your tavern, Jared.
Okay. So my tavern, I have dubbed Lo and Behold. That's the name of my tavern. This is the seedy tavern that if you need to hire a bounty hunter, or if you need some unsavory work done, or maybe even you just want to hire that ranger who hasn't bathed in a couple weeks, this is where you would come to find that NPC to do that job for you. And as you can see, lo and behold, there are beholders on the wall, and that's their insignia. And maybe the bounty hunters killed a small young dragon at some point and mounted its head. And my favorite part of this tavern, favorite part, is that you actually get to chop your own wood for the fireplace.
Yep.
So instead of using the wood that's pre-chopped, like at your fancy tavern, where the fireplace is
it's all
obviously
stocked and ready to go,
groomed and manicured, you actually have to come over and hack up your own wood to get the fire going, because it's that low budge of a tavern.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'll skip that tavern, perhaps. I am currently at the Tick. Why it has that name? Well, the area was kind of infested for a while, but now it's better. This is the upscale tavern. We are the
upscale tavern named the Tick.
Named the Tick. It's just kind of a throwback to the old days of the Western Kingdom of Argoth, where what's funny is that this tavern is actually on the eastern side of the Western Kingdom. So
I see.
Yeah. And this is
so
where
your tavern is like sort of like an oxymoron, or has okay. All right.
Absolutely. It is super clean. All the kind of highbrow folks, come here for entertainment and just to maybe wheel and deal some things throughout the city.
So it's equally seedy, like my tavern, but they're just drinking wine. And eating with utensils, as opposed to their bare hands and drinking, stale ale.
Exactly. And they have some really highbrow, golden goblets, things like that,
Golden goblets.
Yeah.
Those aren't gonna get stolen by the player
Not
characters
here.
immediately.
No way.
All right, cool.
Cool.
It sounds like I need to come visit you at your tavern, and you need to come visit me at my tavern.
I mean, you were supposed to be here, but instead, you went to the wrong tavern.
Yeah. Well, I like going to the place where I can get a decent meal on the cheap. And
sure.
You on the other hand,
well, you
obviously
have to know somebody to get in here, right? Yeah. Well, you have to know someone, and that's how I got in here. Yeah.
Who do you know at that tavern?
Well, there's some officials. I don't want to name any names.
I changed my mind. I think I want to stay at my tavern. All right, everybody. I'm really excited for this next segment. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I already do in real life frequently with Ron and Morgan, and sometimes Jeff. Never with Jessica or Katie, because they would probably school me.
They probably would. Yeah, absolutely.
But this next segment we're calling Dungeon Debates, or the Dungeon Debates. And this is where we're going to be taking a topic, and today's topic is the most underused and underappreciated monster in the monster manual for Dungeons and Dragons. And this could either be 5th edition or an earlier edition.
Anything, yes.
Yeah. And more importantly, we're going to be betting gold.
Yes.
And whoever wins the debate, which will be decided by you, the viewers, down below in the comments, whoever wins the debate wins that gold, and we'll be keeping a running tally of who has the most gold for later segments.
Yes.
And if you have any great ideas for topics that you would like us to debate on the show, by all means, reach out to us either in the comments below or join the Dungeon Run Discord and send me those topics.
Yep.
All right, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I'm pretty confident about my choice. So I'm going to say my bet for this particular debate, just to be a nice gentleman and not school you immediately, I will bet 5 gold that my monster that I chose is the most underused and underappreciated monster in the monster manual.
Yeah, I'll match that. I'm
Okay.
with you.
You don't
5
want to
gold.
raise? You don't want to raise at all?
Nope, I'm gonna match. We'll do 5. I
Okay,
like it.
so okay.
It's a good
So-
start. It's a good start.
It is. It's a nice gentleman's bet.
Sure. Next time though, it might be 50 gold.
Oh, all right. Go big or go home, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So I combed through past issues of monster manuals. I even looked at 5th edition, and the monster that I chose
Drum roll.
is the Naga.
Oh.
Some people might call it a Naga.
Yep.
I call it a Naga because I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. And that might even be one of the reasons why it's an underused monster is because
Maybe
people don't
so.
know how to pronounce the name. And then they get in an argument about it, and then it never gets used. So the Naga, in 5th edition, there's 3 different types. There's the Guardian Naga, the Spirit Naga, and the Bone Naga. The Bone Naga is essentially like the Dracolich equivalent to a dragon. It's the undead skeleton version thereof.
I feel like
So-
he would be the most used of the bunch of Naga.
The Bone Naga is the most
Yeah.
commonly used. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a cool image to have this
Yeah.
skeletal serpent head with a, skeletal serpent
Totally.
body. Yeah, totally. Yeah. It still doesn't get used. And you know why I know this? Because I have
Why?
had a Naga miniature
Oh,
for quite some time,
next level, bringing it.
and I have never used this in a game as a Naga. I have used this miniature as a giant serpent. I have used it as, a tentacle or whatever,
Right.
but I've never actually used it
Use it
as
as
a Naga, as its intended purpose. And this particular one is an aquatic Naga, but
Yeah.
whatever. I actually have 2 of them.
Wow,
Yeah, not used.
bringing your A game already.
Yeah. So the Naga in the dungeon or the monster manual is a large monstrosity. It's the Guardian Naga is lawful good, which to me doesn't make any sense because Nagas for the longest time have been evil monsters, but for whatever reason in 5th edition they decided to make it good. I guess you can come across it and it can help you on your quest or give you sage advice or something.
Right.
The Spirit Naga is the one that I think would be a great choice to use in your game if you want to throw your player characters for a loop, surprise them. And one of the reasons why I love this monster is that it's intelligent. And so it can be used in a wide variety of ways. Maybe if it's, a lower level campaign, maybe this is the mastermind that you are working up to being able to fight, because it can dominate people, it can hold people in place. It's got all kinds of magical spells that it can cast. And in fact, I wrote a poem about
man.
the Naga.
You're just trying to hit it home run now, man.
Yeah. So let me throw this one at you, and then I'll throw the ball back into your court. And you can
I
introduce
will
your
say
monster.
that I will not be doing a poem for my creature. No one wants to hear me do a poem, so.
Yeah, you can do a song. You could do a
man,
rap.
That's even worse.
Yeah,
If I
okay.
sing, parents will pull their children from the streets and bar up their homes.
Okay, so here we go. Naga, a silly poem by Kjack. In my yard, I see a snake, draped around my gardener's rake. Whilst my velvet red roses bloom, the serpent's face spells my doom. Its wicked smile holds my gaze. When I strike, it seems unfazed. 'Twas an illusion and nothing more. Just then its fangs thrust and bore. Apologies, my love. Your sweet embrace will have to wait. I've been erased.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Naga.
I don't think I could debate that. That's just perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's hard to debate poetry. I guess we could
Sure.
do like a poetry slam where we,
That's true.
try to
Valid.
out poet one another. But I would love to hear before we get into the juicy
Yes.
part of the debate. I would love to hear your monster, my friend.
So my monster comes from the Monster Manual version 3.
Oh, okay.
So
Classic. Yeah.
It is a bit classic, and what's funny is that I have played D&D since, I'm gonna date myself, since the late 70s. 79 was the first time I played D&D. 1979, yes. So, and I have never played with this monster ever in any campaign, but I've always thought it was super cool. And it is the Arrow Demon. Okay? And
Okay.
the thing about the Arrow Demon that is so impressive is that on their own, they're maybe not that much of a threat. But in force and summoned by whoever, they can pretty much go up against any other demon if you have them in force.
Right.
And what makes them crazy amazing too is that despite their small size, they have 4 arms and can basically wield any size bow they so choose, and also dual wield bows.
What?
Firing 2. Yes. Boom.
What? I don't know if I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay. So you're telling me that the demon has 4 arms. Okay, sorry. I'll let you finish and then I'll go to town on you. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So that's really the basics of them, and we can get into debating from there. But the thing that I like about them is just the fact how, as you increase their volume, and obviously they're throwing arrows, it's going to be very devastating at times.
Yeah.
It could be any type of arrow, right? But they're not just easily summoned either. So you have to have someone skilled to bring them into the realm. But I really like the fact that they seem so minor at first, and then suddenly you're surrounded and you're like, oh crap. Reality of this is that I literally just chose this monster. I did not prep as long as you did. So it was funny because
What do you mean? I wrote this poem before the show.
I know.
I didn't. It's not like I wrote this and had this in my diary or something. I
pretty sure you
just
did.
wrote this.
I'm pretty sure you've had this poem for like months, just
No.
waiting for this moment to spring it up.
No. I spend a lot of time on my poetry for the show, but for the dungeon debates, that was a quickie.
It was. I was impressive, actually. What,
Thank
15 minutes you wrote that? That was really good.
Yeah,
So-
10, 15 minutes. Yeah. Although don't tell the cast of the Dungeon Run that, because then they're going to expect me to do it during the show. So, Arrow Demon versus Naga,
Yes.
right? Okay. So, here's the deal about your little Arrow Demon. You
Bring
said
it.
it has 4 arms?
4 arms.
4 arms, okay. And that somehow it can wield 2 bows at the same time in its
This
4
is the-
arms.
This is the theory.
Okay. Well, the Naga has no arms and
True.
can be devastating to a player character group in any situation. And in my mind, the perfect way to use the Naga is actually as the arch nemesis. In fact, the next time I run a game, I'm just going to throw a Naga into the game. I don't care. I think I'm running a game right now for 3rd level characters. I'm just going to put a Naga in there for no reason. It'll probably be a TPK, but what are you going to do? So the reason why I like using the Naga as the arch nemesis, as like the end all be all, this is who you're eventually going to have to deal with or fight, is because in theory, with their magical powers, they can, especially the Spirit Naga, can dominate someone. So the henchmen that you're fighting, the secondary characters, I don't know, maybe like an Arrow Demon or something, could have been dominated by the Naga, and that's why your running up against these bad guys before you meet the big baddie. And the Naga, being super intelligent, is going to be able to, maybe keep the fact that it's there running things in the background a secret. Yeah?
Interesting.
Yeah, so you don't even know that it's a Naga until it's too late. Boom, dropping it.
Well, I'm telling you, man, right out of the gate, posable thumbs right here. you have nothing, no arms. I mean, how do you even pick up something, right? I mean,
True.
You just slither by it.
Yeah.
What's that going to do, right?
Yeah.
Where these guys could not only fire arrows, but in theory could grapple with you, and in bulk, they're going to just be unstoppable. Your Naga would be shot down at a distance. It wouldn't even get near these guys. Okay?
Hit point wise, I will say the Spirit Naga only has 75 and an armor class of 15, but it also has a movement of 40. And you were saying, I can take this Naga out no problem with my player character group. My defense to that statement is that it's got 40 feet of movement, so it can be backing up while unleashing its spells at the player characters, making it that much harder for them to catch up and do melee damage.
Just obviously in a mass form, that amount of arrows is just critically terrible. But when in smaller groups, arrow demons made extensive use of their ability to cast Dimension Door to maximize damage potential while minimizing the wounds they receive.
I see. Very good. So they have a little bit of magic.
They do.
A little bit of magic that they've mixed in. Okay. So it's up to you, viewers. You tell us who won the dungeon debates. This is round 1. We're betting 5 gold. And the next topic could be decided by you. So if there's something you'd like to see Mark and I debate on the show, could be anything Dungeons and Dragons related, hit us up. Let us know. Give us those topics. We would love to debate.
So it's time for Borrow an NPC. And this week we have a fine chap. His name is Clifton Cloudfang.
Yeah. Who we just randomly created right before this episode.
Out of thin air, basically.
Yeah. And one of the things that I really liked about Clifton Cloudfang is that he's seen some hard times. He's been through it. He's got kind of a rough past. But he still sees the silver lining in things.
Well, literally as well.
Yes. Yeah. And the literal part of that is that he has silver hair, or his hair has turned,
was it
completely
like some sort
white.
of magical accident, perhaps? I mean, whatever
Maybe.
it is, it took his ear as well at the same time, his right ear.
Right.
So,
and I imagine him being like a Steve Martin type character, or look like he's got the silver hair, Steve Martin missing an ear, essentially.
yes. Well, but he's red-skinned for some reason.
Right. And that is the interesting part because he is a human.
Sure.
That is the interesting part about good old Clifton, is that why does he have silver hair? Why does he have red skin? He's not like Dragonborn or some other race. He's a good old human.
Yep.
And one of my ideas for his backstory is that maybe he dabbled in magic for a while.
I'm pretty sure that happened.
And it went so poorly for him
so bad
that it actually turned his skin permanently red and burned off part of his head, including his ear, and that's why he's missing his ear.
Indeed. And it may not be more, maybe it's more of an overall burn than it is an actual red color.
Yeah, that would be super creepy. I guess if you wanted to turn him into a villain later on in your game, you could just say that he's covered in burns as opposed to red skin.
That's valid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Crystal blue eyes. I like the idea of having soft hands for Clifton.
Well, he's a
as
painter,
like a
though, right?
smite.
Didn't we decide he's a painter?
Yes.
So.
Yes. So failed magician turned painter.
I love it.
Yeah.
So good.
And I like the idea of the fact that he still yearns for the days of being able to cast spells. And maybe if you use this guy as your NPC, which we would love. In fact,
Yes.
if you do,
Oh.
please let us know. Put it in the comments below if Clifton helps out the player characters or hurts the player characters or whatever he does. If he just, is a random guy they meet in a tavern. How does Clifton Cloudfang come into your game? And is he a good guy or a bad guy? We're not going to do alignments. No
Nope.
alignments
No
on
alignments.
these characters. I kind of feel like alignments are a thing of the past when it comes to Dungeons
This is
and
true.
Dragons.
Very true. Yep.
Yeah. But
And-
he loves magic and he respects it and anybody that does it. So if there's somebody in the party that's a wizard or a sorcerer, even a artificer or a bard or something like that, Clifton is going to be honed in on that
Yes.
character. Yeah.
And I love his plot hook that we have going.
Yeah.
He really needs help because he needs to organize a hunting competition of some
Right.
sort.
Right.
So-
But that he's not necessarily hunting animals. He
Right.
could be hunting something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe he's looking for specific pigments for paint, and he's got to hunt down those herbs in order
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah. The rare purple pigment.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too fun.
That's good.
And I'm really excited to see
Yeah.
what folks can do with this character. Really,
Yeah.
really excited.
I do think he's smart.
Yes,
I
I
think
would
he's
agree.
very, very smart. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe his wisdom score isn't all that great though, because he did blow himself up and
Yeah.
burn off part of his face. But
It's true.
yeah, but he's definitely smart. And because he's a painter, maybe he's a little dexterous as well. So
That would make
I would
sense.
say put his dexterity around, like a 13 or a 14. His intelligence would probably be around 15 or 16 because he
Yeah.
thought he was going to be a wizard and it didn't work out. But then keep the charisma and the wisdom low.
Yes, absolutely. If you had to give Clifton a voice, what would that sound like?
Clifton, he's smart, but he's seen. All right, so Clifton could be sort of a middle class.
Well, I thought it would be a good idea to be a mage, but I'm afraid it didn't quite work out for me. As you can see, I've lost an ear, but I heard that there was a famous painter, well into the future,
It's true.
actually, that lost an ear and became quite famous after he passed away. So I thought, why not be a painter?
Why not? It seems to fit. I like it.
So that's my Clifton Cloudfang voice.
Yes, perfect.
Hey.
Absolutely perfect. So
Yeah.
again, folks, if you take this character, we're gonna post these stats and everything in the description to the video, and please grab them and even modify them as you see fit. But
Sure.
we just would like to hear what you do with this character.
Yeah.
and
Maybe
what
he's
fun you
half
have.
elf and you can't even tell he's half elf because he
Right.
doesn't have his ear. And
Exactly.
the other side's covered with a beret because he's a painter.
You don't even know until it's revealed in the campaign.
Dun dun dun.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us in this very first episode. Look for more fun as we do more of these, and we might even have some special guests down the line.
Yeah. It was an absolute pleasure destroying you in the dungeon debates.
I don't
Mark?
feel like I was destroyed, but we'll let the viewers decide.
Yeah. And by all means, catch us on the Dungeon Run Discord, and if there's anything you want us to debate, and if there's an NPC that you'd like to help us create, or if you end up using Clifton Cloudfang, let us know.
Indeed. All right, folks. Until next time, we'll see you at the table.